Hello YouTube. So today I'm going to show you a pretty cool updates that I did to this mod. I have finally added the AI companion mode and the combat mode. I've also added a new function to the helicopter. So if you were to die, you could use the /THX HelicopterMod, find me, and the thing will actually go to where you're at. So in theory, if you're several thousand blocks away, Um, say even up to 8,000. I did test it on a dedicated server to make sure it works. So far, so good. It did work, and took about 20 or so minutes or something like that. But what I did is I added a function to where the helicopter has its own chunk. However, if you died, you left the game, and then say if the helicopter's 5,000 blocks out, and you load back in the game, then it won't work. So basically, you got to be in the chunk with the helicopter, and if you were to happen to die, the helicopter actually does fly towards you because at that point, it's already in the chunk that you had loaded. So if you die and you're far away, you won't get a message that says helicopter not found or your helicopter was not found. It will fly towards you. All right, let's demonstrate the new features that I have done to this helicopter. So you can use a missile or a rocket, and you'll see that it does fly up to you. I had to do a little bit of overhauling with it to make it alternate around the player, and I made it where it keeps a distance from the player because I will add helicopter on helicopter collision at some point. Um, I'm also going to add another feature sometime in the future update to where instead of using a boat to kidnap mobs, you can push the mob into the helicopter and use the companion mode function and fly them wherever you want to and then break the helicopter instantly. So, yeah, that's a new coming feature. So you can see here that it does exactly what it's supposed to. It alternates like it's supposed to. And so far so good. It tends to stay with the player. Mimics the movements like it's supposed to, just like the old legacy THX helicopter mod. Now, there is still a little bit of issues that I have with it keeping its distance from the player, so I will fix that at some point before I add the collision update. Also, another thing I did is it does shoot exactly for the other helicopter where you're shooting. Especially with the missiles, so if you shoot far, they combine together and they make a very nice explosion, which would be pretty damn fun for some base rating. So let's use that little island over there for an example. Yeah. And I used a traced ray to where basically no matter the distance, it causes the missile and rockets to basically join together perfectly when it finally meets the blocks at the distance, instead of spreading out, because that was a problem that I had. So if I use, let's delete that tree right there. Nice. And then we can also go in combat mode. This is fun. Oh, you missed, buddy. And it will shoot missiles at you, so you gotta be very careful. I gotta update its accuracy a little bit better. to make it a little bit more difficult to fight. Oof, man. I missed. I missed again. Trying to be fair to it a little bit. Hey. Oh! Okay, that's actually harder than I realized. Got him. Oh, now I'm taking some damage. Got him. Yeah, that was fun. I am going to work on the accuracy a little bit better to make it a lot more accurate, to give it some serious combat, to make it kind of a little bit difficult, to give you that sense of, oh god, you know, just make it stressful as fuck. So I'm gonna do a little bit of fixing on that, but for now that's a work in progress. And also, let's say, you know what? You got your stuff in the chest and you were to just die. Oh no, I died. My helicopter's gone. Where is it? Well, ouch. All you gotta do is this simple code, and boom, it'll start flying to you. Now, keep in mind, if you're on a mountain, it does get a little bit weird, and it has this kind of loop situation I gotta fix, and it doesn't quite like to go up high up in the mountains, so I have to fix that situation, so I'm still trying to polish that a little bit. But look at that. Comes right towards the player, just like we want, which is nice. And then now I got my stuff back. But yeah, so if you're up on a high mountain, like say you're on an amplified world, it would be reasonable to be in a reasonable altitude, kind of like this. But if you're up on a really high mountain, it kind of starts to struggle a little bit. Um, that's the only downside about that. So that I'm still trying to polish out a little bit, so I will be polishing that. And let's do one more test. Let's try to go real far. Yeah, let's go to this village right here. Let's see how well it goes over here. So technically by now the chunk would have unloaded and it wouldn't been able to go to you. So let's say this is my spawn point. That's 400 meters. So about 600 blocks out. Okay. And it keeps you updated on how many blocks out it is. I felt like that would be a good idea to add to notify the player, like, okay, it's this far out. And you can still, walk around and do your thing, because it'll follow you. It tracks you, so regardless, it'll still follow you. Um, yeah, it doesn't matter on where you're going. You can walk around and do your thing, whatever you're doing. It'll still come right to you. Oh, there it is, right there. Look at that. But the reason I added that little function for it to notify you like how far it is basically to keep the player being like, "Where's my helicopter?" Oh, it's on its way. Nice. So let's just do a random teleport. See what happens by that point. There we go. Yep, you see, it still definitely works. I tested it on a server. So what I did is I killed the dev player, and then I left the game so that dev's player's helicopter was like 8,000 plus blocks away, and the dev player was at spawn while I left the game. And when I left the game, then I went back to the dev player side of Minecraft, and then I used the find me command, and it traveled all the way those 8,000 blocks. It took like what 20, 30 minutes, something like that. Eventually, it eventually found me. It does have navigation, so it will detect and read blocks as it's traveling. See that? That mountain right there? That's too high. Like something like about this high is fine, and especially that. But what it'll do, it'll calculate and it'll go around or over the mountains. But if it's too high like that, it'll usually go around the mountain and locate the player. But what I'm gonna do is use the code to see, like, to check, okay, player is at this altitude. It'll climb all the way. It'll set its cruise altitude about that high plus 20 blocks higher, and then fly to the player, and then land to fix that situation. Or I'll just set its cruise altitude a lot higher than the clouds, about I don't know, 200 blocks higher than the clouds to prevent that situation. So I'll figure something out. But look at that, there it is. Came right up to me, and now there it is. It has obstacle avoidance. Even the combat AI and the navigation AI has a bit of um, object avoidance as well. Something else I want to show you before I forget. So let's say you were to go to a ledge. Like all the way over here, let's say you're going to a ledge. This is so cool. It's just like the old days of THX HelicopterMod. This is dope. This is this is so dope. And it shoots with you. You can go base raiding and stuff. Let's see. Let's pretend that is a ledge right here. I'm gonna go right up to it. Press H for altitude hold. Just go up right next to it. Press shift and it teleports you to it. Even that guy right there stays with it. I had a bug to where, like, it would follow the player, which was weird. Um, but yeah, I need to do audio tuning too. So as you see, I got far away and you can't hear the helicopters. I'm still trying to figure out Minecraft's audio sound works to extend the range on it because I want it to be able to where you could hear these helicopters coming up to you on like up to like 150 to 200 blocks away to give players that sense of, oh shit, we got somebody coming. You know what I mean? So that's the plans for that. So far so good. But besides that, that's pretty much it. And I also added that feature for people who want to check out sky structures or building a sky base. You could have this altitude hold mode. The altitude hold also adds so when you dismount, it will stay there like what it's doing right now, which I find pretty convenient. You can just go over to the helicopter, click the inventory, and grab your stuff. So that guy's a bit far away. Which, yeah. So just use the helicopter for now. I'll think of something where it comes close to the helicopter when you dismount, where it just automatically, pulls up a little closer so you can grab stuff out of it. And then when you get back into it, it backs away, gives you distance. But if you're too far and you press shift, it'll say, nope, you're too high to dismount. And that's for accidental bail. If you happen to press the shift button too high, it won't fall out by an accidental bail and die. But this is super useful for base building or sky structures or really crazy Minecraft worlds with floating islands and shit. So, yeah. Y'all tell me, guys. If I could speak, tell me what you think, and I hope you guys enjoy the new update. Anyways, I gotta get going. I'll see y'all next time. Fly safe, my friends. Good luck.